What's up, nail geeks? I am back with Polish Pickup October 2020. This month we have the theme animation, and I have quite a few goodies to show you guys. I wanted to preface this by saying I apologize for my tardiness. The mail has not been kind lately, so things have been a little bit delayed, but I'm in time before the shop goes live. So let's dive right in and see what we've got this month. First up is Alchemy Lacquer's Blazing Sword, described as a periwinkle jelly with orange to red to gold to green shifting shimmer and pink to gold to green clear shifting flakes and micro holographic glitter. This is inspired by Voltron and the price is $11.50 and there will be a cap of $150 US and $15 UK. So this has a very jelly-like formula to it. It is easy to build up, but it does dry down very flat. So I'm going to suggest a good glossy top coat just to really maximize that shimmer-like effect. Now in bright lights and in indoor lighting, you'll see this appear like what you see on the video with this kind of almost peachy, orangey type of appearance for the shimmer. And at angles, it easily shifts over to green. This is also loaded up with those iridescent flakes that kind of complement that shimmer. Now for opacity on it, I'm going to suggest 3 coats if you have a prominent free edge like myself, in that if you have shorties and you have a free edge that's a little less prominent than mine, you might be able to get away with 2 coats, but for the most part, I think to maximize that shimmer, 3 coats is going to be best. Now in the final hand shot here, you are seeing a glossy top coat. This one is actually from Gleaming Glow, but more on that later. Now Alchemy Lacquers is also bringing us a nail effect topper. This is shiny and has green, blue, purple, pink chrome flakes, green, purple, blue shimmer, and purple and turquoise micro flakes, and multi-sized purple and turquoise holographic glitter. This is inspired by the Espeon Pokemon. Price will be $11 and there is a cap of $100 US and $10 UK. So to switch things up, I'm swatching this over a mint cream. This is Sinful Shine Rendezvous, if you are curious. And I'm going in with what we are dubbing the icing method. So just beat it up towards your cuticle and then gently spread it out. I didn't have too much issues in terms of placement. It gives quite a bit of product in one coat, so I think it looks really cool over both light and dark colors. And Baroness X brings us acetone antidote this month in the scent of Candy Kingdom, which is a mix of pineapple, bubblegum, and cotton candy, and is inspired by Adventure Time's Candy Kingdom. Price will be $4.25 and there is no cap on it. So I've actually been surprising myself that each month it seems like I'm due for a fill up on my pump bottle in time for the Polish pickup videos. So this is basically how I refill. I'm using an old Zoya pump bottle. There's approximately 8 ounces that it holds, and I'm adding 100% pure acetone and 1 entire vial of the acetone antidote. What this does is it softens your cuticles while you are removing your polish with the power of your acetone, while also leaving a lingering scent afterwards. So this month's scent is very pleasant. Reminds me kind of like juicy fruit gum, but I'm definitely get that top note of pineapple with it, but it also has a very strong undertone of a fruity type feel. Very pleasant and fresh in this kind of candy-like but fruity type of scent. And Blush Lacquers brings us my Spinach Puffs. This is described as a medium tan polish with blue to purple shifting multichrome flakes and gold flakes. This is inspired by Kronk from the Emperor's New Groove. Price is $11 and there is no cap on it. So we have a very Crelly-like formula. It is very smooth on application. Now I want to note that this base color is going to play against your skin tone. So if you have medium to deep skin tones, then this is more than likely going to lean as a strong neutral nude on you. I feel like it very much appeared as a nude on myself, and I'm very warm toned. Now for opacity, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats, depending on how you polish. I think that second coat, I had really good opacity, but that third coat really helped to plump it out. This has a really smooth formula. It self-levels very well, and those flakes contrast very well against that tan base. So you'll easily see them with this nice blue appearance with a purple shift at angles. And of course, there's also those lovely gold flakes in the background. Now this does dry down flat, so again, I'm going to recommend a good glossy top coat. And by Danny Viana brings us Cardcaptor Sakura. This is a white when hot to pink when cold thermal with gold metallic flakes and red glitter. This is inspired by Cardcaptor Sakura. Price is 12 and there is a cap of 280 US and 20 UK. So this is very smooth on those brush strokes. It's very much a crelly, but I think it has a heavier lean towards being a cream. I think for the most part, 2 coats is going to be just fine for most. As you can see, the temperature reactivity of this is very, very sensitive. It easily shifts over, even on those brush strokes. Now, the flakes in this one are of the smaller side, so you'll get that really adorable type of speckled finish in your final look. And this one also dries down quite a bit on the flat side, which is characteristic of thermals. So I'm going to recommend a good glossy top coat to seal this one up. And you can see with the ice water shot, it is easily transitioning over to pink. Very cute. And I personally am a big fan of this anime myself, and I think it's a perfect representation. And Cameo Colors Lacquers brings us Courage of the Heart. This is a taupe gray crelly base full of scattered hollow sparkle, red to green shimmer, red to gold to green color shifting flakes, and a touch of red to gold to green iridescent hex micro glitter, a dash of lime to blue to gold UCC flakes, and hollow micro flakes. This is inspired by The Secret of NIMH. Price is $11.50 and there is a cap of 95 US and 5 UK. Quite the mouthful there. So we have a very crelly-like formula. Once again, this has a dense, heavy feel on your application, and it builds up very well on the nail to opacity. So for the most part, I think 2 coats are going to be just fine with it. In person, the shimmer is on the medium side in terms of how obvious it is, and it gives this slightly red type of glowing appearance against that base color. Now, I do agree with the official description that the base is a warm type of grayed taupe. And Crystal Knockout brings us Making Mischief. This is a dark mauve to bright green thermal full of hollow glitter in pink, purple, and green with black micro glitter. This is inspired by the Misfits. Price will be $11.50 and there is no cap on it. So we have another very crelly-like formula. This one leans just the slightest bit more on a jelly side, but it's very smooth and easy to build up. So for the most part, I think 2 coats are going to be just fine with it. And as you can see on this first coat here, I'm already getting quite a bit of a temperature change. So it's very, very sensitive to whatever type of temps that you're in. So 2 coats here, and you can see it plumped out very nicely. This has a ton of glitters in it, so I think that's kind of making up the majority of the opacity in this one. So you'll get quite a bit of a kind of subdued, in my opinion, sparkle effect, as it's not this insanely holographic type feel, but it definitely has that type of glittery sparkle effect, if that makes sense. So here with the ice water shot, you can see very obvious 2 different colors on this one, and you can easily see your free edge when they are cold. And Cupcake Polish brings us Tale as Old as Time. This is a yellow polish filled with magical red shimmer and flakies and a hint of holographic flakies for added sparkle. This is inspired by Belle's Dress from Beauty and the Beast. Price is $13 and there is no cap. So once again, we've got a crelly-like formula. This one dries down very much on the flat side, so I'm going to suggest a very good glossy top coat just to really exploit the shimmer in it. So the base color is absolutely a spot-on interpretation of Belle's Dress. This is a true type of yellow. Now the shimmer here is pretty strong in person. You'll get this nice reddish type of glow from it. And I think it kind of plays against that base color and warms it up a bit. So overall, this is a very warm type of yellow shade, and there's quite a bit of those holographic flakes. So here on the full hand shot, you can see with a glossy top coat, it really exploits that nice reddish cast from the shimmer. And Cuticula brings us Pretty Guardians. This is a stunning black jelly base with a rainbow of metallic flakes in gold, blue, aqua, red, and purple. Each flake gives off a beautiful metallic shine of color throughout the dark base. This is inspired by the Guardians from Sailor Moon. Price is $12.50 and there is no cap. Now this does feel a bit like a jelly in terms of how it's going to apply on your nails. It's very smooth, but it does have a lovely self-leveling and creamy-like effect on your brush strokes. So between 2 and 3 coats, you're going to be good to go. Now on the second coat here, you can see it's giving me really lovely coverage, but I really wanted to see what it was going to look like at the third coat. So in a moment when I do that, I think you'll kind of get an idea that honestly, I think it's fine either way, but that third thin coat really helps to bring out just a ton of those flakes, and they really pop against that base color. Very, very lovely. And I also think that third coat kind of gives you this plumping-like effect that I'm always talking about. Now this one does dry down quite a bit on the flat side, so again, a good glossy top coat to seal this one up, and you'll just see all those lovely colorful little speckles against that very dark base. And Fair Maiden Polish brings us Cat and Mouse. This is a mousy taupe with red to orange shifting flakes, Aurora Shimmer, and subtle hollow sparkle. This is inspired by Tom and Jerry, one of my favorites. Price is $11 and there is no cap on it. So this feels very much like a jelly on application and in terms of how it's going to appear on your nails. So for opacity on it, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats, with the caveat that since this behaves like a jelly, in my opinion, if you wear it at 3 coats, it's definitely going to darken out that nice taupe-like base. So it's very neutral, and if you are warm-toned like myself, it's going to lean just the slightest bit with a nude sort of feel when you finish it up. So here you can see on that third coat, it just really helps to darken out that base color. Now what you're mostly going to see here are the flakes and the shimmer. They do kind of warm everything up even more, and they have this nice fall-like color shift with them. So lots of copper and orange and green. And here on the full hand shot, you're seeing a glossy top coat, and it just really sealed it up very nice. Just a really interesting color. And Femme Fatale brings us Crystal Citadel. This is a sheer blue-toned purple with strong pink to green shift and holographic accent. This is inspired by the Crystal Citadel from Adventure Time. Price will be $14 and there is no cap. So this feels like it has just a slightest bit more of a jelly lean to the formula, but I do want to classify this one as a crelly, as it really applies just very, very smooth on the nail. So for the most part, 2 to 3 coats is going to do you just good. Now on my swatches, I took it up to 3 coats, and you can see between the second and third coat here in just a moment that it really builds up very quickly on the nail. Now it does dry down on the flat side, so once again, I think a good glossy top coat is really going to make this one pop. The shimmer is very strong in person. There's that really lovely pinky type of glow with it, and at extreme angles you'll see a green shift. This is very lovely, and that holographic accent is delicate, but it's very much dense across the nail. So quite a bit of sparkle, especially when you're in the sunshine. And here with the glossy top coat, you can see just how glowy it is. And Glistening Glow brings us Truly Outrageous. This is a blurple crelly with various shapes and sizes of pink glitters. This is inspired by Gem and the Holograms. Price is $12.50 and there is a cap of $380 US and $15 UK. So we have a lovely jelly-like formula with this one. It does behave just the slightest bit like a crelly in that it self-levels very well, and it does have a very smooth consistency. Now, per usual, my bottles get a good shake before applying, and you can see here I've got tons and tons of glitters coming up on the brush, so no problems in terms of fishing or placement. Now for opacity, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats. It's really going to depend on how you polish and your personal preference. Of course, true to jelly-like polishes, if you take it up for a third coat like what I did, it's really going to darken out that base. Very pretty. And the glitters contrast very well against that lovely blurple. Now I want to note that I do think that this is a true type of blurple, and Glistening Glow is also going to be offering her a quick dry glossy top coat. This will be $7.50 with a cap of $230 US and $5 UK. So you guys have seen me use this top coat a ton on this channel. It is one of my absolute go-tos. It does not smear stamping. It leaves you super glossy, and the drying time is fantastic for it. It is wonderful for swatching if you are a hobbyist, and I have banged my nails multiple times after swatching, but using this top coat, I'm always good to go with it. And Lemming Lacquer brings us Be Our Gnome Queen. This is a forest blue-green jelly with purple to pink to gold to green multichrome and holographic micro flakes. This is inspired by Gravity Bits, the Rainbow Puking Gnome. Price is $13 and there is a cap of $250 US and $25 UK. So this is definitely a jelly-like formula, but it is very dense, very heavy on application. However, it's also very, very smooth on your brush strokes, which is definitely something that I typically think of when I think of this brand. So for the most part, I think 2 coats are going to be just fine for most, unless of course you're rocking those longer nails, then you might need a 3rd coat. But for the most part, you can see here, it's really starting to give me good coverage and darken out very, very well, especially for a jelly type of base. Now the multichrome pigment in here is very strong, and I feel like I don't really do this one a whole lot of justice on my macros, which I'll show at the end, but at angles, you'll easily see it shift over to a gold and green. And MLF Lacquer brings us That's All Folks. This is a yellow when cold to orange when warm thermal with red to orange to yellow aurora shimmer and a smidge of linear holographic microflakes. Inspired by Looney Tunes, and the price is $12.50 and there is a cap of $190 US and $10 UK. So this has a very smooth but somewhat cruddy-like formula to it. Very satisfying on the brush strokes. Very lovely self-leveling factor with it too. I really liked the formula on this one. Now for the most part, I think 2 coats are going to be just fine, and the shimmer is really lovely in person. It's not quite really in your face, but it is still very noticeable, and I think it plays up against both the cold and warm states. So the thermal properties on this one are very strong, easy to react, and I think a good glossy top coat is really going to help make that shimmer pop very well. And on the ice water shots, you can easily see there's definitely what I'm going to classify as Looney Tunes yellow and Looney Tunes orange. Really lovely, and I think it's really perfect for fall. And Night Owl Lacquer brings us Hot Pants Rain Dance. This is a stormy gray curly packed full with several shades of crystal chameleon flakes to create a rainbow effect. Inspired by an episode of Bob's Burgers, price is $13 and there is no cap on it. So big time fan of Lindsay's flakies here. This one is no exception. We've got those lovely, what I'm going to dub the unicorn color roll of iridescent flakes. So lots of pinks and golds and greens. Now this is a true type of jelly in that depending on whether you choose to wear it at 2 or 3 coats will definitely depend on how deep and vampy that base comes off. So here on the 2nd coat, you can see I've got a ton of flaky payoff with it. And again, I shake my bottles before applying and I had no problems getting them out of the bottle and onto the brush. So the 3rd coat here, I really wanted to see what it was going to look like at 3 coats. And you can see it just darkened out that base, but really popped on the flaky factor. So in my opinion, I think 3 thin coats are really going to flatter this one best. Go in with a glossy top coat and you will be good to go. And Polish brings us Spaceland. This is a smoky violet with a mix of platinum silver and iridescent purple flakes. Inspired by Cowboy Bebop, price is $13 and there is no cap. So we have another somewhat cruddy-like formula with it. I feel like it leans just a touch more on the jelly side. It's got quite a bit of a squish factor as you're applying, as you can see on this 1st coat. And one of my favorite types of nail polish goodies has those platinum silver flakes. They give that lovely type of reflective sparkle when you're finished. And this is packed full of glow also from those iridescent purple flakes. That really is what's building it up to opacity. Now for full coverage, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats. You can see on the 2nd coat here, I'm getting really wonderful coverage. And even though the flakes are on the larger side, so they're really obvious in person, I didn't have any problems with them sticking up or anything like that. And I got a wonderful mix of them across my nails. So another really interesting finish. Now this one also dries down on the flat side, so once again, I'm going to suggest a really good glossy top coat to seal this one up. In Poetry Cowgirl Polish brings us There's Always a Rainbow. This is described as a cheerful pink shimmer packed with a rainbow of hollow glitters and iridescent flakies. This is inspired by Cheer Bear the Care Bear. Price will be $11.50 and there is no cap on it. So we have a Crelly-like formula. There's a touch of squish to your brush strokes. And for opacity, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats, depending on how soft you want that pink base to come off. I feel like it's one of those softer type of almost vintagey-like pinks. So if you have warm undertones like myself, I think it's going to have this nice vintage-like effect, if that makes sense. Now in person, you can definitely see there's this rainbow-like effect from the glitters. It's super pretty, and I feel like on my macro shots you can see them better, but they are very tiny, which I think gives an interesting effect in that you can see up close that they're rainbows, but farther away it gives just a bit more of a sparkle-like effect. And Pretty Beautiful Unlimited brings us No Capes. This is a blackened navy to blue thermal with micro holographic pigment and flakies, Aurora Shimmer, and a mix of 2 crystal chameleon flakes. This is inspired by Edna from The Incredibles. Price will be $11.50 and there is a cap of $150 US and $10 UK. So once again, we have a Crelly-like formula, in my opinion, with just a touch more of that jelly lean, so it's got quite a bit of a squish factor to your brush strokes. However, it builds up very quickly to opacity. So I think for the most part, most are going to be just fine at 2 coats with it. Now the thermal properties, as you can see from my brush strokes, that it is very, very sensitive to temperature, very easy to change. Now I want to classify this one as a tri-thermal in that in a moment when I show you guys the ice water, you'll see that there are definitely 3 shades of blue here. So it goes from a very light blue to a medium blue and then a very dark blue. Really interesting. And of course, you guys know I'm a big blue biased polish lover here. So really nice to see all 3 colors here. You can see right there as the polish is cooling off on my free edge, you can see that kind of mid type of blue. And again, I'm going to suggest a good glossy top coat for this one, just to really seal everything in, as it does dry down very flat. Now, Pretty Beautiful Unlimited also brings us another wax sampler this month. This is in the theme Saturday Morning, which contains 15 cents with roughly 8 ounces of wax. The price on this one will be $8, and there's a cap of $180 US and $20 UK. So per usual, I'm showing you guys what the bags look like. This month's charm is a variety of different types of cartoon inspirations. I got the mermaid. There's a couple other shapes that you can get. They're all randomly picked. Now you also get your scent card here, so you can see all of the descriptions for the scents. This month's molds are really cute. There's some Sailor Moon themed ones. There are some circular shapes, and there's also these unicorn heads. Very, very adorable. I smelt this when I got my package out of my mailbox. Very pleasant. Full of really yummy scents like fruity rings, unicorn Pop-Tarts, glazed donut, blackberry jam, blueberry lemon donut. Really good. So if you are a fruity or bakery type of wax melter like myself, this one's definitely going to be for you. And Quixotic Polish brings us Almighty Tall. This is a squishy red leaning purple base full to the brim with red to green shifting iridescent flakes, inspired by Invader Zim, and the price will be $12.50 and there is no cap. So the base color, I really have to agree with that. It is a really perfect mixture of red and purple. And as you build it up, it's going to deepen out, but still retain this reddish cast to that purple base. This is also packed full of those iridescent flakes that easily shift from red to green, depending really on any lighting that you're in. Now for opacity, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats. So if you wear it at 2 coats, it's going to definitely be just a touch lighter on that base color, but it's still going to give you excellent coverage against your free edge. So really going to depend on how you want to wear it. Of course, if you take it up to 3 coats, you'll definitely darken out the base color and of course get more flakies on your nails. But regardless, between 2 or 3 coats, it still offers a ton of flakies. So just to kind of back up what I'm saying, I went ahead and went for that 3rd coat, and you can see just how much it darkened out, but still just lots and lots of flakies with this. I mean, easily red and green appearance across your nails. Now this does dry down on the flat side, so once again I'm going to suggest a good glossy top coat to seal it up, and you'll get that incredibly strong iridescent flaky effect. And Rogue Lacquer brings us Going Down the Bayou. This is an antique gray with gold to green and copper color shifting flakes with micro hollow flakes. This is inspired by the scene in The Princess and the Frog during the song Going Down the Bayou. Price will be $12.50 and there is no cap. So once again, we have a jelly-like formula. It's got a bit of squish to your application. And for opacity, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats. So the base is very much an antique gray. It's on the warmer side, and the flakes are of the medium and large variety, so they're really obvious in person, and you'll get a very much in your face red to green shift with them. Very lovely, and I had no problems with them poking up or any issues in terms of texture. Now this does dry down very, very flat, so once again, I think a good glossy top coat is going to really exploit the flakes and seal everything in. The flakes against the base color on this one reminded me of fall-like leaves, just in the way that they laid against each other and just how large they are. Now, you can also see that there are these little holographic specks across the nail too. These are those micro hollow flakes. They are on the smaller side, so they kind of take a back seat, which kind of complements that leaf looking appearance, if that makes sense when you see it on the full hand shot here. And Supernatural Lacquer brings us Room on the Broom. This is a deep night sky blue base filled with orange to gold to green multichrome and translucent white flakes. This is inspired by the book and short film of the same name. Price will be $12 and there is no cap on it. So this has a very jelly-like formula. However, it's very, very rich and smooth on your brush strokes. Very easy and applies super opaque on the nail. Now, for the most part, I think 2 coats are going to be just fine for it. And in person here, the multichrome pigment takes on this shimmery-like effect in the background. In indoor and bright lights, you'll see it as this orange and gold, and in extreme angles, you'll see this lovely green shift. I don't think I did it justice on my macro shots, but just in case, I'll of course make sure to add them to the recap at the end of the video. So you can see on the second coat here, I'm getting excellent opacity, and there is quite a bit of a self-leveling factor here. Now this does dry down very, very flat, so I'm going to suggest a good glossy top coat. And Watcha brings us Mordecai O. This is a periwinkle crelly with micro glitters. This is inspired by Mordecai from the original show. Price is $13 and there is a cap of 200 US and 15 UK. So this has a very crelly-like feel with a bit of a squish factor on your brush strokes. It is very easy to build up, so for opacity, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats. Now, I really want to point out that the base color is what I would consider a dusky type of periwinkle. However, the flakes in this are very, very glowy, so they easily shift from this nice almost aqua type of blue over to purple at extreme angles. And I really just want to point out that I think the video is coming off pretty color accurate to what you'll see in very bright lights, but please note in person and indoor lighting, it's going to be just the slightest bit darker. I think my camera was just latched onto the flakes and how much of a glow factor they bring. On the final hand shot, again, you are seeing Glisten and Glow's quick dry glossy top coat. Really helps the plumping factor on this one and just so much glow. Now, Polish Pickup is going to open up for shopping October 2nd at 11 a.m. Eastern Time and will run until October 5th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. The website is currently open for wish listing and there's a ton of products this month. I know personally I've got my wish list loaded up with non-polish items. There are so much cute inspirations. I'm really digging this theme. I feel like we've had quite a bit of a wait for the animation month and it's here and there's just so much cuteness. I'm a big time fan of anime myself. Also of course the classics too. So there's so much cute stuff to check out. I will link you guys below to Polish Pickup's shop if you want to get in there. Maybe edit your wish list. I hope I helped anybody who was undecided on the ones that I got sent this month. And I'll also, of course, link you guys to Polish Pickup's Facebook fan group for additional swatches and extra information and all that good stuff. Don't forget, too, that the theme nominations for December are currently going on right now, so you can peruse that link in the Facebook group and submit, I want to say it is 3 themes that you would like to see for December's theme, and definitely get in there and do that. So it seems like there are some interesting choices for December. I don't know. We'll see. But all of that will be linked below in the description box. And as always, you guys always sound off so well on my polished pickup videos, and I love interacting with you guys. I know I've been quiet lately. I have just been updating my setup. I have a new computer, new monitors, all that good stuff. I almost feel like a professional now, I dare say. But I have been quiet on that front, but please know I am definitely every once in a while checking for comments and stuff like that, and to interact with you guys. So I'm here now with the new PC, and I would love to hear you guys' thoughts again for the polished pickup this month. As always, if you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.